Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Lois Tiley,
Present.
Diane Dennis,
Here.
Marie Rowe,
Here.
Richard Horner,
Here.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Kathy Harris,
Here.
and Sarah Tiley. Here.
Are there any adjustments to the agenda as presented?
No, sir.
Do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Announcements and public comments. Anybody got anything? If not, we'll move on. Spicer report.
We'll keep this pace and keep it short. Busy month, we've been plugging away on the Category B project, phase one, looking to have that wrapped up. We're gonna do probably a final walkthrough this week yet, and then sit down with Hart and Don this month. I know it's gonna get busy with Thanksgiving, but hopefully have that wrapped up by 1st of December and over to bond council to keep the financing process moving forward so we can hit our bid date January, February. We had a small kickoff meeting for the pump stations, met with the contractor, finalized out what we need, got the parts gonna be ordered this week, and I think it's 3 to 4 weeks is what they were saying on the parts, so looking probably to have those right before Christmas, and weather depending, the contractor is looking to get going on it right away. And that's the installation of the unit to allow Don and DPW staff to monitor the pump stations electronically, whether it be the computer at the office or on their iPad, cell phones, whatever it is. Other than that, Hart and I have a meeting, I think, next Monday, right, Hart, with MDOT on the Category B grant, and that meeting's just summarizes the grant with them, and they go through what the requirements will be on our end. Shouldn't be too, they sent over a packet, informational packet, which Hart, I think you received that as well.
Yep.
Anything else, Don, Hart?
I would just add that I've included Mitchell into the Safe Routes to School grant that we're going after with Mark Benson, Mr. Moody, etc., to start working on the construction side of Walnut and Maple, trying to make the roads safer for children if they were to use those routes. As you know now on Walnut, you walk out into the road, there's not great lighting, there's no safety signage, so each school is eligible for $220,000, so we're looking at $660,000 worth of grant money to fix the roads, sidewalks for kids. So Mitchell is now included in that, and those meetings going forward as we look for funders, and we're still working with the Saginaw Foundation and Michigan Health Alliance, so more on his plate, and I thank him for taking it on.
Looking forward to working with you guys on it. Should be a good one, so. I think that's all. Any questions? No, we didn't do a whole lot on the drinking water asset management grant last month. That kind of, we wrapped up the hydro excavation, and like I said, at the office, we had a couple meetings regarding the level of service capital improvement, how we want to look at the assets, which we need to then turn around, sit back down with Hart and Don and see, village specific, what we want to do and how we want to do it within the grant, so. I think that's it. If there's no questions, thank you guys.
Thank you.
But I'd also add that we just received a generous donation from Spicer towards our old-fashioned Christmas in the amount of $500, so thank you to Spicer. I think that'll get us about 6 more bikes, I believe, something like that, so thank you.
Thank you guys for everything you do for us as well. We enjoy working with you.
Move on to the council minutes from October 12th. Are there any questions regarding those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept.
All those in favor? Or support, I mean,
Support.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the commission and committee reports, the Parks and Recreation Committee from October 19th. Any questions on those minutes? Planning Commission for October 20th. Any questions on those minutes? Downtown Development Authority, November 4th. Any questions on those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to accept and file the minutes of the Park and Recreation, the Planning Commission, and the Downtown Development Authority?
Dick, I'm sorry, I just,
Support?
We have a question over here.
Oh.
sorry.
Well,
This, on the Downtown Development Association, this new signage, can you tell me exactly what they're talking about as far as new signage?
I cannot, the person that asked to put it on the agenda was not present.
Okay, so
They want to discuss something, but they were not there. So,
they called and said I want to.
well, they were at the previous meeting, said, will you put new signage on for next month? I said, absolutely. And
Okay.
then no attendance from them, so we'll go after it next month.
Okay.
any other questions? Did we have a motion from you, Ms. Hallie?
Oh, sorry, I
You
was
need a
reading.
motion for the accept them and file?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented and file them.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to communications. Item A. Nothing there.
Item A would be Old Fashioned Christmas, just to discuss that we had raised about $2,900. We have 19 bikes, 6 more coming with the donation from Spicer, 4 scooters. Thank you to Jenny who's been picking them up, and Mike, you know, the big white sleigh, I don't know what you called it, but it's a great event, and I think it's gonna bring out a lot more people, children, people from neighboring communities to come enjoy our parade and our downtown, so hopefully it's a beautiful weather and, you know, maybe a little snow, not too cold. It should be a nice event. Last year was just awesome with, I think we had the same amount of bikes, about 29.
There were 27 bikes, and that was not including the ride-ons that we were donated. We had scooters that were donated. Got a face painter lined up for this year. They're gonna make ornaments in the library, decorate some cookies. They're gonna get swag bags.
We have, you know, Rebel Magnolia's coming,
Yep.
ladies from there, a couple other shops. Should be some food trucks.
Yep.
So
That's all gonna be at the park?
it'll all be
downtown.
downtown.
Oh,
We're gonna
downtown,
bring
okay.
everybody down, so.
Lighted candles in between the trees and stuff like that. Trying to see if we can get a DJ to kind of announce when stuff's gonna go on. Santa's gonna be there, so.
That radio station's not gonna be there?
Nope, the DDA did not wanna pay for the live part, but they will still be doing, I think, 64 ads for us. We'll still have the toy boxes for children that are in the hospital during the holidays. If you wanna donate new toys, there's one here, I believe at Thurston's, and I believe at Tony's. They did a tremendous job last year. These kids love it. They're in the hospital, they're not home, and Santa shows up and gives them toys. So it's a really neat endeavor, and we'll continue doing that.
How's the tree sale?
They lasted a
Day and a half.
day and a half. Tuesday they were gone.
Good.
Yeah. So we're still receiving calls. Oh, I forgot again this year. Any chance? I'm sorry, but
How's
those
the
go
parade?
quick. Parade, last I checked was 3 entries, but that normally is a little slower than the tree sales, but we're trying to drum up some people and the Lions Club involved. Get Matt Wiki and Autumn Wiki on that, so. I'd follow that up with the Holiday Light Recycling Drive. There's a drive going on to keep holiday lights out of landfills. We are one of 17 locations along with the library. So they take these to a metal shop, and all the donations are going to Child Abuse and Neglect Council. So if you have old lights you wanna get rid of, or
Oh, yeah.
non-LED, or something that would burn down your tree like I had growing up, and not be environmentally friendly anymore, bring them here or to the library, and we'll try to raise funds for the Child Abuse and Neglect Council. And this is just an example of one of the future carts we will be having. It's one of the options, but not the only one, so.
My sister's on the
Any other
council.
communications? If not, we'll move on to new business.
Payment of claims.
Oh. Okay, let's do payment claims first. Nobody likes to talk about it. Anybody have any questions on the payment of claims?
On page 5, what is the, near the top, Civic Plus, what is that?
Online code hosting, so if you want to look up our zoning and code enforcement rules and regulations, we pay yearly to have those posted.
Oh,
It
okay.
used to be Unicode, Unicode,
Yeah,
they were bought out.
I never remembered that before.
Yep, they
so-
just bought out Unicode, so.
Okay.
And I had, same page, what is Beaver Research?
Those are the towels that they use at the garage.
Oh,
They're
A unique name.
Oh, okay, okay.
they're not beach towels, that's right.
No.
Is that per month?
No, it's
Oh.
once or twice a year.
Oh, okay. Didn't say wrong.
I hope not.
That's pretty expensive.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to pay the claims?
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of claims in the amount of $107,000, $641.75.
One second.
Vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now moving on to new business, the annual surplus policy.
When I first came here, this is something I implemented right out of the gate. It's not a, we're going to have this, but if we were to have a surplus in fundage, I thought we needed to pay down our liabilities to retirees. As you recall, we were at 59% funded, which is below the 60% mark that the state dings you on and makes you have to fill out a report. And then you have to come up with a plan on how you're gonna get out of that. And they just started that with OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits. So things that we offer to previous employees, we were not paying into for a very long time. So we're now up to about 70% funding in the pension level, and this partly due to this. So anything, should we have a surplus, pays down our liability. The goal is to get to 100% funded by 2033. Obviously, our OPEB, we just started kind of 3 years ago when the state said, hey, we're gonna start looking at this next. I believe we were 8% funded when I got here on that. We're now 23% funded. It's definitely something previous administrations, previous councils have promised retirees, and we're not gonna take it away from them. They're living on a fixed income. But the goal is to pay them down so we're not paying extra money in the long term, and that once we get to 100%, then we can start looking at different ideas, whether it's a defined, instead of a defined benefit, we look at a defined contribution, contribution levels, and things like that. So they've kind of shored up the OPEB part of it, but we are still working on the pension side. But we've made a lot of progress, and this is one of those things that if at the end of the fiscal year, it is determined we do have a little surplus, that we dedicate it to the past, just half, and then some to OPEB, and then the rest in the general fund for, water, sewer, whatever we need to do for the village.
Any questions? If not, let's move on to the 2023 meeting schedule.
I think we should decide kind of if we're going to move forward with this. As you see in the past, the effective date was 12/1/19 prior to the fiscal year, so is this something we'd like to do? We did put a sunset on it for it to to end. So it's not something permanent that ties the hands of future boards, but this is something that we would like to address. Do you want to table it for the month and bring it on to the new council? I mean, these are all viable options.
I say we move forward with it. That's just
I agree.
Me too.
Support?
No, is there a time frame in 2 years? That we did 3 years last time, I think 2 years, I don't, seems fair.
3 years?
We could go 3, again, the premise is not to tie the hands of future boards, but pay down the liabilities that we weren't paying into previous, or, the cost, one of the issues was MERS, was telling you that we're gonna get a 7% return on our investment, and for, you remember the lost decade, how the market crashed 7 through 10, we were getting really about a 3% return, so our money wasn't making up enough, and now we're finally doing, it wasn't a good spot until, just recently. Now we're gonna go back down to probably seeing 3 to 4%, investment return, so it's one of those prudent fiscal things that isn't fun, everybody wants to throw pizza parties and pop when you have a little extra money some places, but, this is one of those prudent fiscal decisions that sets up the village for long-term success.
I think it should be 3 or, I don't
Three?
know, more maybe, I don't know. 3 or 4.
Don't get hurt.
I mean, we're 59 to 70 in 3 years. We can do that again, then it changes our options for what we have to put into MERS. It lowers our overall costs. It lowers what we have to put in the surplus division. So, again, it's not flashy, it's not fancy, it's just like taking care of your budget at home, You're paying down your credit card, essentially.
I think 3 years would be good too.
I'd rather have a pizza party at home or a new TV, but the credit card is just looming.
Cauliflower pizza.
Not cauliflower pizza,
Cauliflower.
no, something deep.
Then I guess I'll make a motion that we continue the annual surplus policy to be reviewed again 11/9 of 25.
I'll support.
Support? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
This is just setting the 2023 Village Council regular meeting schedule. We will probably have an additional meeting in February for budget time, but this sets us up for next year, so everybody's aware and clear of when we will be meeting. And so this is, as we always, the second Wednesday of every month in the council chambers at 7 p.m. Just need you to set those dates and times.
We don't need a motion.
I just got a question too, I guess, about this, and I don't know, last couple of years, seems like in July, it always seems like it's a dead period, and not a lot's going on. I don't know if anybody feels like a monthly recess of July in case, unless something big is happening. I don't know, it feels like it's very, like the month of July in particular, it seems like there's nothing really going on.
I believe in the past, they have taken a recess in July. I know some county commissions that I've been a part of have taken off August when the county fair
Okay.
was happening,
Mhm.
or whenever the county fair was. So it's not unheard of.
I'm just throwing that out there, I just didn't know. what
You
anything
could,
about it.
yeah, you could add July, optional or if warranted, but at the same time, you probably have to have it because you have to pay the bills.
Right,
The payment of claims,
Yeah.
you're gonna put those off, you're gonna be writing checks without the approval of the
Yes.
council, so it probably wouldn't work, but I have seen it done.
okay,
It's just, it sets somebody up for trouble if,
sure,
if something goes wrong, so it's always best to just have the meeting.
okay.
Keep it real short in July.
Always is. I'll make a motion to accept the 2023 Village Council regular meeting schedule.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Jaeger Asphalt.
We went searching for quotes for quite some time. This is the only one we have. MDOT is all over us to get this done immediately. obviously this is outside the village, but it was our fault due to 50 years ago. What did we not do?
Anyway, we had a water main break just, north of the motel there. It was about a 9-foot deep cast iron water main, and we did get into the roadway enough where there needs to be a repair done. And yeah, I tried to hold him off till summer, cause we had a large paving project, and he would have no part of that, so they would like it done immediately, the repair for the road.
And Mr. Huntley, I spoke with him today on another issue, and he was making sure that we had proper traffic control. And as you can see in this quote, it's about $1,500 for extra traffic control, but I don't think we have
We don't have the capability, you're talking a lane closure and
on a major highway.
state highway.
And so that's all he cared about was, yep, that little thing.
That little patch right there
That
is
little patch.
$4,000.
Well,
Well, so you're gonna do, if you look at you have a bad photo, but you're gonna do that whole road out to
you gotta
the
go
middle
out,
of the
Going all the way
lane.
out to the
you
center?
go to
Out
the
the
center
center road,
lane,
yep.
20 foot, it's gotta be milled out
Okay.
and then feathered back in, yeah, it's not just a patch of that little patch, no. It's to the center lane, about like it's 25 foot long. And, yeah, it has to be
That
milled
makes
up.
me feel better.
Yeah, it's-
No,
And we're getting late in the year, most of the plants close down around deer season, so.
You'd be out there mixing your own.
Well, it'll probably be a lane closure half day, but they gotta have time to mill it.
so it's about $5,400. We do have the road funding to do it. He's all over us. Like I said, we said we couldn't find anybody, we can't find quotes. People are trying to close up their end of the year stuff, and he said, I don't care, it's gotta get done. And then I called him today and I said, what about spring? He said, absolutely not. I said, well, we patched it. He said, I don't care. It's a state highway, we're not gonna put up with, your stuff. Old Don Hundley.
Is this MDOT saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody else give us an estimate at all.
Yep, so 5,400 total.
I
Yeah,
guess-
your motion, we go ahead and get it fixed and get it off our back?
Yeah, he was not kind today. Not nice, how do I say that?
All business.
He was very adamant that this gets done. He's like, oh, you're starting it today? I said, whoa, slow down.
Coverman don't move that fast.
Yeah, I'm like,
We have a
Stay
motion on the
bid.
floor to go ahead on the bid, as the bid presents itself.
I'll make a
Is it-
motion to accept the bid.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I did reach out to other asphalt companies. They're just busy. The person that did Spruce, as well as, what else did they do? Down on Ithaca. They did our Fulton Hosmer project, TJ Prees out of Imlay. They're just too busy to get out here, but they normally are the most bang for your buck, but they're too busy. But I did let them know that we did receive a Category B grant, and we will be bidding out, and make sure that you guys apply for, or bid for it, so. Scott was very thankful.
Okay, item D.
Just want to say thank you to Sarah, Mr. Horner, Ms. Rowe, and Diane Dennis for your service to the village. I know some of you your terms are ending. Some of you have been here for many years, some of you decades. Some of you have served on every committee that this village has. So I think it'd be appropriate to say thank you for all that you've done for the residents of this village. The institutional knowledge that you have, Diane, from going, we talked about this on the Parks Committee in 19 whatever year. And it's been helpful to myself, to other commissions, to Planning Commission, to the Parks. So thank you so much for everything that you guys have done and stepping up for the village.
Yes, thank you.
I'd be remiss
We
if
appreciate you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate those that won, our new president, our new trustee. I don't think Darcy's here, and I don't see Jamie, but congratulations. You're replacing some legends in the game, so to speak, but just because they've been around for almost every change that's happened. Diane, how long have you been
I was
serving?
18 years on the park and then 14 on the council.
Yeah, and Marie, you've been village president, you've done a lot of good. Dick,
Planning commission and.
planning commission, you're still there, I'll see, we got chapters 10, 11, and 12 next week, it'll be a doozy. Dick, this, 10 years, I believe. And
Planning
and Sarah-
commission and a few others.
Planning commission, Sarah, you know, we might have an opening on park soon if you wanna. Kidding. But, again, just thank you. You know, when I came in here, it was kind of a tough time for the village, so to speak. A lot of angst. And you guys stuck through it, and we're doing better financially. We're getting things done. We have grants coming in. We have a whole new water project for the whole half of the village coming. We're looking at new parks, new equipment, new roads. Bless you. So, thank you. And the work doesn't stop, but you guys were part of a lot of change, positive change. So thank you.
I know I'll be gone, but if there's anything I can ever do to help, I would be willing to. I'm gonna miss being on the council and being around everyone. And we have come a long way with you, Hart, and I appreciate it, and Jenny, you know, it's a good working group. So if I can help in any way, just give me a call.
Same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hart, for coming around and being here. You took on a big job. You've done a great job. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to departmental reports. DPW report.
On the water end, we did have we replaced 3 water service lines. We did have a water quality complaint. We checked flush and it was, sample come back okay. We took a disinfection byproduct sample, no result up to the maximum contaminant level, and we attended the Eagle Fall Regional Meeting on the water end. The sewer, we're getting ready to dump pond number 3. The streets, it's routine patches and sweeping. We burnt the brush pile. Parks are winterized for the season. It'll be ongoing mulching as long as the weather permits, but we've got a pretty good start on that. And we cleaned up with hometown days and helped out with the hometown parade. So, any questions, comments, concerns?
Yes. My last request. Will you please set the darn clock down?
That was a discussion today. Well, they've changed daylight savings time, what is it, like 2 weeks later, so.
Yeah.
So we usually let it go because it's on the old timer, so, but it will be fixed tomorrow. So.
Well, that was kind of a red, but
Yeah.
that is anyway.
Actually, you cannot, well, you have to stop it, and let time go by, you can't go backwards with that clock.
And then remember to go back.
Yes, you gotta go back and set it, but yeah, we're good.
I have a question, Don. That complaint you had from the guy on Ithaca Road, is that the one you flushed?
Yeah, we did Ithaca and Lake Shore Drive, both.
Okay, and that, they were okay?
They were.
They're good, and Mitchell did a kind of, what did you do, analysis on how much turnover is in that, let me get to the email, in that, let's see, this is it. So he did a calculation on the water turnover rate for that 8-inch water main on Spruce Street to the dead end. The turnover rate on the water is within the segment of main, should be right about 1.5 days, which is not bad. We have to keep in mind that we're quite a ways from the source, City of Saginaw. The water, the village has their water sampled and runs the chlorine residuals with no problems. So after Mitchell's calculations, it was about a day and a half that we came to the conclusion, 1.66 days it turns over and flushes, so.
And what you'll have too in the fall, the lake actually turns over, and they call it turbidity in the water, so the water quality may not be what you're used to, but it's still perfectly safe to drink. It meets all the water quality standards. Some people are more sensitive to it than others, but we are tested a minimum of 3 times a month. The city of Saginaw comes out and takes samples,
Oh, okay.
so it's.
They're always here, and they don't call and give you a heads up. There's no warning, or else we start flushing the water.
It's- I mean, we do take complaints seriously. It's nice if they would call instead of come to the meeting and let you know, but we do address every single one of them, so.
Okay.
Any other questions?
These service lines that are being replaced, and the roads that are being replaced. I mean,
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
some of the service lines and the roads are being replaced, whatever, there's been some talk, people don't understand where it's being put in or what's being replaced. Maybe you could come up with some kind of overview map of who's doing what and where, cause, and in a time frame or something, cause, I mean, it would actually help out in trafficking and
Mr. Spicer.
you know? You can say it, you know, I'm not gonna remember, I'm not gonna remember.
No, I'm
every
talking
every
to- I'm
service you
talking
did,
to
but
him.
I'm just saying, if you had a map of an overview of something and you just roughly draw it out.
As we went through this, there has been charts, maps, and other things that are available. If you miss meetings, you know, a lot of them, that's why they don't see it. But they do hand them out at meetings and stuff.
I'll revise
They've
that for the
had,
next meeting.
they've had some in the,
Up to date.
I believe they put some in the paper a couple times.
And we,
Most of the
Yeah.
legwork, the planning, everything was done 2-3 years ago.
I mean, I've got a rough idea like where the old
Yeah.
services are that are gonna be replaced, but
Yeah.
the different roads, how it's gonna affect the people, and what time frame or whatever.
yep, that's 100% accurate. We've met, I don't know, every few weeks for the last 2 years to try to get to this point, and then we had variations of which plan to go forward with based on, are we gonna get the category B so that, oh shoot, we have an extra 250,000 for roads, so we can pull it out of here and put it back into the service
I get it,
lines,
but I'm
and
just
so.
saying, you probably already got that kinda allocated
We're-
money to what.
yeah, we're
what's
close to
going
having it.
what. I mean, if you give them some kind of a time frame, you say, I'm gonna do this then, and what, that way people got
Yeah, once we go out to
an
bid,
idea if it's gonna be.
yep, once the bid packets are out to companies and giving them the time frame to come back, then we know exactly what project we have, and then we can, share it on
I don't think
Facebook
the
and,
community really knows though, I mean, that's what I'm saying, everybody's talking about it, but nobody knows.
Hmm.
So when we're talking about how you're gonna do some water service down on, or
phase 2, yeah.
Bell Avenue or whatever, but you're only going to the tracks, people are confused on where it's gonna go, and if you do it, what time, it just is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things that they've been discussing since before I got here. I mean, we have booklets on booklets, every DWAM grant, every, this
People
was-
are always
yeah.
more than welcome to come in and ask, you
Yeah,
know.
we have
They can show them,
we have plans going out to 2038 on different
Not
phases, and
far out, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for the year,
Yep,
I mean,
I-
you put it out there,
Nothing's a done deal.
Yep.
there you go, people know what's going on this year.
yep.
I think it'll be closer when we get, there's nothing's a done deal yet. Next month, bid and financing, all we can.
Well, you did say something with the old service lines, and the water
Right.
lines, but we're gonna be replaced for sure.
The scope might be scaled back.
So once you go out to bid, say that the pipes are a little more expensive than you want, you can't do the whole project that you want, or,
Once it's bid out, right?
Right, well, you know, then we may have to scale back.
We can't
If
afford
it's
it.
too
Yeah.
expensive, we might have to.
so.
once we
There are still-
narrow it down.
There are still things in place that could change it, so that's probably why we're not bragging that we're doing this road and that road and this service, because all of a sudden,
I say, that's probably confusing to the people, because they don't know what the hell's going on, I mean, just like going. well,
and we don't know what the price of, we don't know what the price of piping's gonna be in January either, and, well, throw inflation out there,
Do we get
throw,
money allocated to it, to do these water service lines, some of the old galvanized and old lead lines or whatever?
Just-
that's an
just to
unfunded
ver-
mandate
just-
from the state.
That was from the state, I think.
Just to verify what they are.
Yeah, that was to identify on phase 1 and do the hydro excavating, a completely different project.
But it's gotta be replaced though, doesn't
Not
it?
necessarily.
You had to have it replaced by a certain date.
We have to do so many per year,
first year of my 10
uh,
years.
through 2025.
Hold on, you're familiar with this shit.
20 years, sorry.
Yep, and there's funding at the state for it, the state drinking water revolving fund, but there's a lot of bureaucratic red tape as well as carrots and sticks that you have to follow to their T to
Yeah, but
get
you
the
know, with all
funds.
the water issues going on with St. Joe and Flint and all that's been going on, you think they'd be all over it.
Well, that's why they're making us do it. So for instance, here's a perfect example. So we are required to replace those service lines 18 inches into the house if it was galvanized or lead. No funding to do it, the village has to pay for it, right? So what happens, this is a hypothetical, you go in that house, you change out the line, you put them on, I don't know, PVC or something. A year from then, or 2 months from then, it starts leaking. They want you to come back and replace it again. Who's liable? The village again? So I called the state and I said, hey, what are the options if something goes wrong while we're in the house and they come back and sue us? The state said, oh, we haven't thought that far in advance.
So hold it now, just where the shut off is in the front yard, then why are you responsible?
We have to go all the way 18 inches into the house.
What if that don't change? If it was ever.
So now we're going into people's
Oh,
homes. So I designed a whole form that I make people fill out and sign that we are not to be held
Just like
liable.
anything though, I mean, if you put in, you know, let's say I have the water, I have a well, but all of a sudden you decide to run water in front of my house.
They weren't.
You're gonna tax it, so I mean, just like anything, you put new lines in, or you're saying it's coming out of our budget, does that go right along with our taxes?
It's different funds. So it could be state funds, depends on water, sewer, it could be what you're paying for, your water and sewer.
I get what you're saying, but it's just saying, they'll start with, people just don't understand where this is gonna happen.
Yeah, and we're not there yet. That's the terrible part is we can't talk about it until we go out to bid and see what prices are.
Oh, you're gonna get it all bid out.
They'll,
Where you're gonna-
January,
those
Fed,
lines and you'll pull parts out of it.
that's the goal. So it went from a $2 million project to a $3.5 million project to prices came down, let's do a $5 million project. Well, now we're back down to 2.5 to 3.5. Based on supply and demand.
Let's get
Based
back to
on-
the agenda
yep,
here.
no
We're
problem.
strayed a little bit off the agenda.
Yeah, just a little.
There's a question on the floor here, Don, for you.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was the place to ask it or not, Don, but I was wondering about the Christmas decorations that we used to have in town. I haven't seen them for the last couple of years. Is there a reason for that? I know downtown we decorate on the poles with the trees. I can understand them not being there, but I haven't seen any down Bell Avenue or
I can take that.
Yeah.
anywhere.
So the DDA stopped funding that company. Holiday Designs by Heidi she was out of Hudsonville, over by Grand Rapids. So they decided to purchase last year their own, same style. They picked a star and maybe candy canes that will be going up. It won't be the exact same, but they planned on building on that, something that we own. We were spending about, I think the contract was for $34,000 to this one lady. And you know, she's putting them up in December and taking them down in January. So for a month, for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you're spending about, I don't know, $1,800, $2,000 a week to this lady for something that they thought we could own.
Yeah,
and-
we used to get them from a company and they'd put them up and take them down.
Yep.
But
Yep.
we're getting them now ourselves, we're buying them
We-
ourselves.
We bought,
The
the
DDA is-
DDA bought 12, I believe,
And so they're gonna go up,
I
down,
think 16. I think.
16,
All
8 for the poles on the
light poles on the
light
bridge.
poles on the bridge, and then they're gonna keep adding as money allows.
okay, so we're gonna get them this year.
Yeah,
Decorations.
well, some, yeah.
Some.
It won't be the exact same, but
Yeah,
And
Okay.
then the thought is now that we're kinda doing the downtown area with the Christmas trees, we'll
Yeah.
expand upon that and,
yeah,
but yeah, we,
okay.
we start.
It's just kinda sad not to see Christmas decorations, you know, down Bell Avenue and that. I enjoy seeing that. They kinda look decorated.
But, yeah, the two bridges will be decorated this year, and then I think every year, like Hart said. they're
yeah.
gonna-
So it was about $5,600 a season, and every season she would make changes to the contract that I don't either have this or I can't do this, and then just adjust it without a say from us because we were locked into, again, this is just before I got here, but they were locked into about a 3-year contract with her 4-year contract.
Yeah,
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 and
Wendy.
she never kept them up either. The lights that go out in those Christmas
Yeah.
trees or whatever, you know, they weren't, you know, she
Yes.
never, same lights would be out next
I
year,
just
you know.
didn't know if we had another company we could depend on or look into.
We were looking for someone more local, Saginaw County,
Yeah.
at the most, but yeah, so even in this addition, she's like, well, I don't have the 26 front mount decorations with pole wrap, but I'll give you 26 LED wreaths. Oh, okay, well then she wanted to put them up on the same poles that we put the Christmas trees downtown, and it just wasn't working, and
Yeah.
people were complaining about that, so.
Yeah,
DDA is looking at kind of doing their own thing and adding on as we go. That's more work for DPW, I understand, I know
Well, I know that in Swan Valley too, the kids would make decorations and hang them up. I thought that was kind of neat. So
It'll be expanded a little every year. We'll own it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's move on to the police department report, please.
Good evening, any questions?
When's the new car coming?
It's out at M&R, we're excited about it too, I anticipate within the next 2 weeks, we'll probably see it upfitted, and ready for use. I just, got some, initial drawings for the sides, the new design on the sides of the cars tonight, so, we'll get those finalized and wrapped up hopefully here pretty quick, and so, I imagine 3 or 4 weeks before she rolls out, but, we're, looking forward to it, so, we just gave them the sedan, they took all the things out, so we'll have, at this point in time, I think our SRO will be using the sedan to get to and from school. That'll be her, vehicle for a while until we see what's next, so, and continual, just talking about the SRO real quick, just been phenomenal, things happening with the school, at the school, people talking, we hear just so much going on with her, we're just delighted to have, somebody in the school, she's doing a great job, and so, we'll get a little bit more of a communication from her at the semester break, she'll probably come in and share too, but, so that's one of our exciting things right now that we're just moving through, so.
Okay.
I like the mock training.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, we did a little bit more, training, just today, we had the final set of the, advanced, rifle and training for that, and, looks like over Christmas break, possibly we'll go over to the school and do some actual mock, we'll have people come in and prepare, so, we're continuing to, build a plan for, high risk, issues that may occur, but we are thankful that we haven't seen anything like that, so. And I just wanna reiterate, Hart's thanks. We appreciate as a department to be able to serve in this village, and we know that it takes a lot from each of you, and, I can't imagine the stories that you have, to share, but we do appreciate everything the board has done in the village and allowed us to do, so.
Any other questions? Thank you. Building inspector.
Hello, everyone. We had 7 permits for the month of, actually, I combined September and October together. In September, so 2 of them were in September, the rest came in late October, sorry. We did issue today a permit for the Family Dollar Tree.
Could you go into a little bit of
That was a-
detail? On
Sure.
Facebook, it's saying the village allowed it, it's the separate, as the planning commission approved the site plan review based on what they submitted.
Correct.
Could you speak to this notion that this is something we wanted, or that we made the decision, and kind of the legality of it?
Okay. Whether we wanted it or not, if the property owner comes to us and wants to build something on their property, and what they wanna build meets the zoning requirements, all the requirements of our ordinances, the state building codes, we cannot stop them from doing it. It would be illegal. You would be, discriminating. So,
whether we wanted it or not, we didn't have a choice in the matter. You have to approve something that is legal for that location, whether you feel it's adequate or needed in that area. I heard a lot of complaints from several people about a Family Dollar going across from a Dollar General, and how why the township thought that would be a good idea, or the village. And I had to explain it wasn't our decision, it's a corporate decision based on the owner of that property.
And I will say it's the CVS Walgreens model of business where they go across the street from each other and it's supposed to uptick both businesses, but this notion that we allowed it, you know, because I have seen on Facebook people complaining, friends of mine, about this, and I'm thinking, the alternative is to get sued and go to court.
Right.
And have to pay the company on top of it, whether it was something that's already legal, which I'd rather use our funds to pay down our debts, go after Playscape in the park, buy new vehicles for our police, things a little, that notion, rather than go to court and lose, have our tails handed to us and have to pay out. Is that about it?
That covers it.
Okay.
I'm all for
I was gonna say, I've never
any
seen it go
business
before
going
this
in.
council.
We're getting, anybody get a business going in here, but you're saying you got no say, I mean, you got the planning commission, you guys okay, I mean, it has to go through the village still, does, I mean, you're not just gonna put up a marijuana dispensary there, are you, I mean, is that any different?
No, because it would have to meet the requirements. If it doesn't meet the
Yeah,
code,
that's
that's what I
just
said.
explained.
If it meets code, you have to approve it. You don't have a choice. If your ordinance says it's approved there, you have to approve
Well,
it.
just like I said, I mean, does it matter what type of business? it is?
Yes,
It does.
absolutely, based on your zoning and planning.
Absolutely. Also, the strike zone batting cages had final approval today, so they still have a little bit more to do. They're waiting for some computer equipment to come in that'll actually give them tracking on batting. You can actually go up and determine if you hit a home run or a single or a double or whatever, and it's all computer produced for you, so when you get in there, you can see your improvements or your failures and learn from them. But they had a good inspection today, so I'll be issuing a certificate of occupancy shortly.
So how long would it be before they open?
That I don't know, I didn't discuss that.
So
Last,
that doesn't mean anything, you just giving them a certificate doesn't mean that they can do it right now.
at last month's DDA meeting, Kelly was, they're hoping for December 1st.
Is that all they're doing is baseball, or they do a golf simulator? or
Not,
anything?
there was talk, she mentioned that potentially in the future, they wanted to get this up and going. They have, I think they said something like 3 or 4 teams already signed up throughout the winter that have paid money to come in, softball and baseball from out of town, to come use this. I equate it to like a TrackMan in golf. I don't know what the softball, baseball version is, but gives you your swing speed, your rotation, all the information. So she's trying to get, they were trying to get that open, and she said potentially in the future. So I have a friend trying to open a golf business, same idea, it's about $40,000 per simulator. And then that's just for the simulator, that's not even for this, leasing the space and, you know, all the others. He's looking to raise like $185,000 just to start it, but the golf simulator is about $40,000. So she said maybe potentially in the future, once we get this up and going, get some money coming in, that we'll look to add.
Whoa.
So is
Scott.
this for just the schools?
That's all I have,
or is
thanks.
this
Scott,
Everybody.
Anybody?
are we getting anywhere with items 2 and 4 on your list on the complaint log?
We will be, nothing's been done yet. Once the new ordinance is in place, I'll be hitting them with.
What is it?
citation. I'll be hitting them with.
You're not
citation.
allowed to say?
I'm sorry, what?
You're not allowed to ask right at the moment.
It's their complaints, same premise, complaint log, this is for junk vehicles, trash, blight is one category, and burning trash is the other.
So what was the big secret, I mean, you can't say. what-
It's just out of order, it's improper decorum for a council meeting.
Secret should be a
Robert's
secret.
rules of
Well,
order.
it's just not how we conduct business normally at any council meeting I've ever been a part of. 20 years.
Okay.
And
How-
So
isn't exactly a normal world we live in anymore.
I understand that.
But we still
I
have to go by the rules.
If you go by the rules, why would you do a selective ordinance when you don't enforce it on everybody? It's
Listen, you guys got
exact-
time.
Mr. If you wish to talk to the council.
Wait,
when
wait,
we
wait,
come
Hold up,
here.
hold up, hold up.
Stop.
There's public comment coming in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That is the perfect time to chat. I mean, that's just,
Okay.
we just follow the agenda is what we're
You guys
supposed to
been
do.
chatting openly for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Any questions for me?
No, Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back to public comment. Anybody want to speak?
Now is your time.
Now is your time.
What do you want me to say? I mean, we're just talking about the ordinance, he didn't get to the other ordinance. What was the other ordinance?
Well, the whole thing is, you're supposed to talk during the talking time.
Well, we were trying. I just
No,
asked a question.
no,
But
I know.
that's not the time to
You
ask
aren't
the
supposed
question.
to.
That's the premise. When you're on the other side,
When you get up here,
I get it,
when
I
you
get
get,
it,
no,
I
wait a
get
minute, wait a
it.
minute, when
I
you
get
get
it.
up here, the
I
thing
totally
is that
understand.
we just can't interrupt you and
He
talk.
just saying, spitting this out and that out, and he's not actually explaining what it is. I mean, this ordinance is this, and we're gonna do this at this time, to
It's
this
still
guy,
don't-
this is the other ordinance. He's not exactly saying, it's like he's trying to keep a secret.
Read
It's not
the
right.
rules.
And I understand where you're coming from also. However, you have
wanna
to,
know.
no, listen, you have to follow what the agenda says. So if you wanna know those things, when public comment comes back, that's when you can say, okay, now back to this. What is this?
Perfectly fine, but when he's just spitting it out, this ordinance and that ordinance, he's not explaining what it is. We're people who come here to listen to this. So why aren't you telling us what it is? What was the other ordinance that he was talking about?
He wasn't even talking about
It
ordinance.
was 2 different ordinances he just said.
It was
No.
burning the trash, and it was the junk car vehicles blight.
Well, why couldn't he just say that?
He didn't hear you, probably.
Well, the problem was, and it's been since I've been coming here, was these ordinances are selective ordinances. You do it for some and you don't do it for anybody else. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's complaint based.
Complaint based my butt. If it's an ordinance, it should be like a law. Either you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Just because somebody comes up and complains, because I don't like you, because your kid's making my kid mad, so I'm gonna complain about you. So now you're gonna come after me, but the guy 2 houses down, you're not gonna complain about? If it's an ordinance, it should be enforced, not a selective ordinance,
And
just
as-
like a law.
And
A
as
law
I
is a law is a
explained
law.
from the beginning, we don't have one, we have the old ordinance in place. We've been working since February of 2021 on replacing the existing to make it so that we can do these things.
Just
So
saying.
that they're
It
all
do-
by
it
the
doesn't
book.
seem
They
fair.
weren't written properly
With
years
the
ago.
crap that was happening with me, there was a guy literally right here by Aldrich's house, and whatever, it said USDOT, whatever, on the side of his truck. I mean, literally a block away, and then you go this way to Locust Street right here in front of,
Okay, we're gonna put the kibosh on this
I-
one right now. I'm just gonna say
right
this.
there, it was right there and sitting in
I'm-
the middle of the street, same thing. And you complain about all these other guys, but then you don't complain about these guys, they're literally a stone throw away.
Okay.
It's crazy. I'm just saying, if it's an ordinance and an ordinance, enforce it. If it's a law, enforce it.
I think
Don't
we're
do it
getting
for
away
one
from
and
the
don't do it
main
for another.
issue here.
Yes.
The main issue is that we're not following the procedure. You are asking questions during our agenda.
I get what
You
you're
need to
saying.
do,
It's not an
then
open
do
forum
it.
like he
Then
said.
follow the rules,
Well,
man.
whatever, what's the rule? Where do you got rules? You got rules you can hand me?
It's called
You have
Robert's
the
Rules
agenda.
of Order.
You'll see.
I emailed them over to you today on how we're supposed to go
Well,
about
just,
things.
you know, I don't have anything to write anything down, whatever. I mean, maybe I should have brought it today, but when it comes to the end, yeah, okay. As we're going through it, we need to address it while you're talking about it.
That's not
No,
how you,
that's
that's
not
not
how it
how
I'm
you
saying.
operate.
It was just a question.
No
What is it?
county does that.
All I did
No
was ask
state
you what
does
the
that.
two ordinances was and this
That's
blew
not
up.
the
That's not
time.
how it works.
Well, whatever.
You
I
need
just
to
asked
learn
him a
the
simple
rules if you're gonna
question.
sit
Then
on
you
the
can
side.
wait until public comment.
Fine. Just saying. Just ask.
Wait
It's
till
been an
public
open
comment.
forum since we got here.
Because you make it that way
It's been a
because
half hour.
everybody walks on eggshells around you because you're
I
so
think we're,
adamant and you're so assertive and rude.
It's not that. It just asked a simple question. You guys blew up.
Because you gotta do it in
Yeah.
the proper time.
There's two
Proper
Asked us,
time.
What were the ordinances? That's all the question was.
Doesn't matter, do it during public comment. You
Well,
have
fine.
an agenda,
Well,
follow
give me one
it.
of the agendas and I'll do it.
It's right there.
I didn't have, you haven't been handing out any other week.
It's right,
They've been there the whole
Come
time,
on,
Paul.
Paul.
Every month it's the
you're gonna be
same
a part of
thing.
this, you gotta know what you're doing, man.
And the
Yes,
whole
That's
really.
why I'm here. to be
quiet,
right.
or we'll have you removed.
the whole premise is you're mad that somebody reported your semi truck at your mother's. That's the whole premise.
It's been there for 20 years.
Right,
I just wanted to
Right.
just come out.
and the same thing with your grade at that house has been there for 40 years, and now in the driest season you bring it up. It makes no sense.
Well, you know what, when there's flooding in my backyard.
Do you know who to
there's
call
water
for
underneath
that?
My house, they don't.
I printed it out
My
for you.
neighbors are like my best friends.
Her name is Kate Blodgett with Eagle.
we need
You
to
have
get-
to go through the state. It's not a village issue, but I appreciate
But
you.
you know what I'm saying?
You are 5 feet
I
below
took
the
pictures
100-year
of
floodplain.
everything.
I just
I
follow
get it.
rules based on what I've learned.
I feel
I've been in
that
state
that's
government, I've been
We
in
gotta
government
get back
for
on
20 years. I've never had
Do you hear a motion
anything
to
like this.
adjourn?
I just, no, I wanna ask
It's just
something.
Yeah,
baffles
I
me,
wanna ask
absolutely
something.
baffles me.
yeah, me too.
No decorum,
I mean,
no respect.
we have a question from the council.
Did, Jenny and, Marguerite get their raise that we talked about last month?
No, I have a comparables going out with 7 other townships, villages, municipalities. Hope to have that back from Rob Gross. He's working on it right now.
So you are working on it?
Yep,
and it will
I wanna
get-
make sure that before we make any decisions that we did our due diligence.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Did you want something?
I just want to be done now. I'm good.
I made a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
I.
Opposed? Thank you.